Originally, I had said before that I was going to trade for money. Before that, it was me going outside of myself to look for jobs, see how I can get employment or lean on a friend or family. Then it occurred to me that it's much better to simply relax in awareness and meditate for my money. And I know that that sounds incredibly ridiculous and probably lazy, and that's fine. You see, I've had multiple experiences in the past where it was that I meditated and I received incredible synchronicity, money, lots of wonderful things happening in my favor, people choosing to be kind and generous to me. Now, the question that bugged me was that after a while I kind of stopped. Not with meditating, but like I stopped subscribing to the idea of letting life flow like that. And instead, I really dove deep into wanting to take action all the time. And there's nothing wrong with taking action, but my personal thing is it's much better to take inspired action, action from a place of passion and excitement, rather than something that is forced, right? So back to the matter, I was wondering, why did I become averse to the idea of just allowing things to flow to me? You see, I said something many years ago to myself. After some contemplation, it occurred to me that it's like I came to this world to unlearn work. But the more I think about it, I'm now in a different phase. It's not about unlearning hard work, it is about accepting ease, accepting flow, accepting softness, accepting the natural unfolding of life, allowing life to life through me, basically. Because what's interesting is how we seem to think that we are completely divorced from life, from nature. You know, you look outside and you see the trees, and the trees are growing, they're doing their thing. They're not having to move up and down, they're exactly where they are, right? You don't see them holding meetings every month talking about how they need to do something to draw down the rain. You don't see the grass talk about or pray to the Most High God in the middle of the night as it's going to bed that, oh God, please, could you water me with some dew? I haven't seen a bird going around crying and begging for anything, right? So, what baffles me is at what point did you and I decide that we were somehow divorced from all of that? The very same forces that uphold every single planet, keeping them in place and in orbit, the same forces that beat our hearts, that grow our nails, the same forces that are responsible for all of nature thriving is the same forces, whatever you want to call it, that is responsible for us as human beings. But somehow we have allowed our egos to get the better of us, and now we separate ourselves like we are higher beings. No, we are all a part of nature. And the sooner you come to accept that you're a part of life, the better, you see. So the thing about taking action, why I felt like I needed to go back to that was that I recognized that I did not like not knowing when or how money was going to come. So, for instance, if I had a gig or a solid job because I worked as a ghostwriter on contract, what it felt good to know that by so and so date I will get paid so and so amount of money. It gave some sense of stability, right? But the thing that you may not be aware of is that what you think of as the literal best fucking scenario you could ever have in life could very well be just the floor. But you're capping yourself, you're limiting yourself. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, right? The best thing you know is definitely not the best thing in the whole world. It's not. So one man's Gucci is another man's what the fuck is that, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So the thing about not knowing is it now poses the question, well, how do we fix this problem? This anxiety around not knowing how or when a thing would come. And I realized quickly that this conundrum, it's really nothing. It's a nothing burger. The way to know exactly when something is going to come is to simply know that it already has come, period. And just like that, there's no further reason to worry, to wonder, to guess, to stress. Like everything that you need, that I need in life, it comes exactly when needed and not a moment sooner or later. All right? And this is a very, very useful perspective to have in life. Now, when I talk about having whatever it is that is needed, right? These are in quotes. I am only talking about the physical manifestation. I'm not a fan of the word manifestation. So let's say crystallization, because to manifest would suggest that the thing is not already a thing, is not already done. Whereas crystallization would suggest that, everything comes from the imagination and it must flow outwardly and then, become something that you can now observe and others can observe as well. Which, by the way, if you live your life waiting for the evidence of your five senses and the people around you to validate the thing that you desire or have accepted as done, you are going to find yourself waiting forever for that thing to actually happen. Personal mistake I've done. You don't want to do it, trust me. So, the way to solve this problem of trying to figure out exactly what's going on with your manifestation, again, I use that word very well, whatever, is to very simply make the process a non-process. You're taking time and space out of the equation by demolishing the idea of needing to ask, when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? Through whom is it going to happen? You're getting rid of all of that when you simply sit and accept and acknowledge that the thing is already done. And the reason that it has seemed as if every time I meditated and I kept up with it consistently, these things were flowing to me was not necessarily about the meditation itself as much as the state of awareness in which I was put. You see, everyone is aware, everyone is conscious. That's why you say I am. When you say I am, you mean you exist. You are here. You are now. Everyone is aware. But the problem is that everyone is aware of being this or that or the third. In other words, you take I am and you condition it with something else. I am happy. How are you? I am fine. How are you? I am sick. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these conditions, they can be great if they serve you, but if they do not serve you, you start to see where the problem is. So what meditation does on a consistent basis is it puts you in touch with the plain awareness, plain consciousness. Think of it like clay that hasn't yet been fashioned into any form, which means that you can do whatever you want with it. It is putty in your hands, okay? So just by accepting that you are, and therefore it is done. It's done. Notice how, if you answer the questions that pop up, well, how am I going to do this? I am. Or when am I going to do this? I am. Notice how that immediately demolishes your ego or your conscious mind's tendency to nitpick and try to make you doubt and question or feel like you have to break multiple bones and weep tears of blood before you finally get the thing. It's very hard to argue with the statement, I am. So if you're experiencing any setbacks at all in life, you don't need to pay attention to what is happening on the outside, because what is happening on the outside is an ever-changing thing. It is always in a state of flux. It is always fluctuating. So what you need to do instead is to accept that you turn to the one stable thing, whether you're happy or you're sad or you're jumping up and down or you're asleep. The point is you are. I am. That is the one stable thing that is always as it is, regardless of what's going on in your life. All right? So I would like to propose to you an experiment, if you will. Just for the next 30 days, maybe 60 days, maybe 90 days, I would like you to, whatever it is that you seek or desire, just say to yourself, I am. And that is enough. You can sit quietly for 15 minutes, close your eyes and keep your attention on your breath. When your mind wanders, and it will, and you notice it, be thankful that you noticed and bring your attention back to your breath. And what you will notice is you become more here and more now. And then you personally observe what happens to you over the course of these 30, 60, 90 days. And I have a strong feeling you'll never want to skip a day of meditation. So that's about it for this video. If you like what you watched, go ahead and hit the like button. You can also hit the subscribe button so that you know when I post something new. Hit the bell icon as well so you never miss a single post and you're always on time. And yeah, all of this is pointless if you don't put it to the test. Be playful about it. Don't insist on specific results. Just have fun with it and allow yourself the time to see what happens.